still Britain's biggest phone company, and a tale of bills for hundreds of pounds, intimidation and threats of debt collectors, and all for innocently reporting a fault on the line.
Whether we use their phone service or not, most of us still rely on BT's 15 million residential lines. So if there's any sort of fault, they'll try to put it right. But who should foot the bill? You or BT?
It's supposed to be straightforward. BT are responsible for everything from the line from their exchange, down your street and into your house. Not my house. Any house. And then into this socket. At that stage, anything that goes wrong, whether it's to do with the wires or the phone, is your responsibility. However, if the problem's caused before this stage and it wasn't your fault, then you shouldn't have to pay for it. That's the theory. But in practice, for some reason, BT doesn't quite always see it that way.
Here's a family that knows all about phones. This home is full of them, including this priceless number. So when they stopped receiving calls last November, Mum Marcel tested every phone in the house. She couldn't find an obvious problem, but she had noticed that the wires outside weren't in best condition. So, as you would, she contacted BT.
So I just thought immediately, obviously they're going to be responsible for this, not us. I'd never even dreamed that we would be responsible for their line.
BT sent an engineer from the part of the business that maintains their lines, BT Openreach. The fault was fixed, and that should have been it. But no, the repair was clearly the responsibility of BT, but it was Marcel who was sent the bill for more than £300.
I just thought, this is outrageous, you know. And you're trying to tell me that all of these properties around here are responsible for maintaining BT's lines, and what are we paying rental charges for? Hiya! Hello?
Marcel refused to pay and not unreasonably asked BT to explain in writing exactly what was repaired and why she should have to pay for it. But all they've had in reply is threats from BT to send in the debt collectors.
It's quite scary having a debt recovery agency after you, and BT won't respond. I mean, what must I do?
The same thing happened to Blessing on Wooka after her line went dead in June, not long before she was due to give birth to baby Michael.
He's absolutely gorgeous. You phoned BT and they've told you, yes, your line's down, we're going to send out an engineer. Did they mention anything about charges?
No, they did not.
So the engineer's come round, he's had a good rummage around everywhere, can't find a fault. Where does he go next?
He went outside.
Lead the way. Let's have a look.
The engineer soon found a fault, and again it was outside Blessing's house, so not her responsibility.
Yes.
OK, so where's the problem?
That's the problem.
That's it?
Yes.
That has got nothing to do with your flat, because this is a communal building, right?
Yeah, yes.
And your front door is right back there?
Yes.
The fault was fixed, and a few weeks later, Blessing got a BT bill for repair work and damage.
When I saw the bill, I said, what?
Over £200 for 10 minutes work.
I said, damage and repair? I don't live outside the door, I live inside. I mean,
You're determined you're not going to pay for this?
yeah, I'm not going to pay
And
for
why
it.
are you not going to pay for this?
Because I haven't got it, and I just had a baby, so...
And it's not your fault?
And it's not my fault.
BT's website says if you're certain it's not a problem with your equipment and you can't fix it yourself, you won't be charged. But there's certainly no way Blessing could have fixed this herself, especially when she was heavily pregnant. Last December, BT came out to fix 2 burnt-out wires at Richard Terrell's house, and they came up with another excuse to send him the bill. Yes, lightning, but Richard was adamant there hadn't been any.
I was a bit gobsmacked. I've lived here all my life, and we've never had a strike local.
BT said they weren't responsible for faults caused by an act of God, and Richard would have to pay nearly £200. He insisted they couldn't possibly have been the weather they claimed they had, but BT just came up with a new reason why he should foot the bill, insisting he must have damaged their equipment.
Every time they twisted and turned, I'd hit them back with another answer.
It was only after Richard took his case to industry regulator Ofcom that BT backtracked and dropped the case.
Put the cow up into the trailer.
Almost like we will find an excuse just to fit it and make you realise that, yes, it was your fault, and it wasn't.
No one likes being charged for something they have to pay for, especially without a proper explanation. BT's been in the communications business longer than any other company. So when they say it's good to talk, shouldn't they at least know what they're talking about?
Well, several months on, and in one case more than a year, after Watchdog got involved, BT have finally admitted they're in the wrong. They've apologised and cancelled the bills. But complaints about BT customer service in its call centres continue. Anita's with some frustrated BT customers.
I am. I'm with Andy and Alan. Both of you can relate to what you've just seen. What happened with you? You've had to deal with their customer services.
We had a breakdown in our broadband, called BT out. An engineer checked all the equipment in the house, said it was a fault outside, there would be no bill.
Yep. Was there a bill?
Yes, there was a bill.
For how much?
£55.31.
So what did you do?
Contacted customer services several times, and it seems like nobody knows what they're talking about at customer services. In the end, passed it on to my wife and said, deal with this.
You gave up?
I can't talk to them any longer.
When you say several times, how many times?
2 or 3 times a day, 4 days a week. And it took us a few weeks to get it resolved, because they have now paid us back the money.
And how do you feel about their service now?
I'm ready to cancel. In March, I will be cancelling my broadband with them.
Even though they've paid you back the 55 quid?
Not interested in BT any longer.
Alan, can you relate to that?
Yes, I can. I had a break in transmission in connection when I had a storm outside, and I had damage to the box that comes into the house, the main box, which is BT property.
Nothing to do with you?
Nothing to do with me.
And that you didn't make that bolt of lightning come down from the sky?
I didn't make that bolt of lightning come down.
How much was the bill that they sent you?
£218.37 for 10 minutes work.
10 minutes? So in anyone's books, that's a lot of money for 10 minutes, even if it was your fault. It's a lot of money.
It's exorbitant. I cannot understand how BT can justify that level of charges.
Is that £218? Is that easy for you to pay?
At the time, I found it very difficult.
So what did you do?
I had to go to my daughter and borrow £200 to put into my account in order to pay the following bill.
A terrible situation for you, for both of you. Frustrated.
Yeah.
Well, and you eventually got some money back from them.
I eventually got 50% back, supposedly as a goodwill gesture. Where they get a goodwill from, I don't know.
Well, I can see that must mean that you've still, Alan, you've still paid 50% of the bill you don't owe.
Yeah.
Well, we have had some. We've been in touch with BT, and there is a bit of good news. I don't know how you both feel about this, but Alan, they said that you shouldn't have been charged in the first place, but they're going to refund you the rest of the cost, so you're going to get that 50% back. And for you both, and everyone, in fact, all our case studies who are in the film, you're all going to get 3 months free line rental. Is that enough?
Still not enough to make me want to stay.
Well, BT say they've made improvements so that all customers will be fully aware of when they may be charged for repair and how much it will be. That didn't happen with any of our cases, so let us know if the same things happen to you.
And Andy, where were you dealing with the call centre, although you passed it on to your wife to deal with, didn't you?
I passed it on to Karen, and I don't know, I think she was dealing with somebody in India.
And did they know about your case? I mean, did they have your particulars?
But they just kept passing us from one person to another, and in one case we were asked to phone back in 3 days' time to try and get the money transferred back to our bank account.
Yeah. See, I think BT should be paying for people's time that they've had to spend.
They spend ages on the telephone. Maybe we should get you to phone them, Anna.
Indeed.
That'd sort them out.